Howdy everybody, it's Amy here from Amy's Sparkly Diamond Painting. How are you doing? I made it to Saturday. I do have to work on Sunday and then I'm off again Monday. We've got a little bit of mixed up scheduling due to spring break and people going on vacation and all that. So I've got a couple little short days off here, but I need to catch up on some recording because what I have here is something I'm excited about. Do you recognize the packaging a little bit maybe? Maybe not. This is a product review package of cross stitch, but guess where it's from? I'm excited about this one. It's from Dreamstitch. So I know I just did a video of my own from Dreamstitch, but I was excited to get these because these are a new brand that I've never tried before. So I want to first off say thank you, Dreamstitch.top, for putting your trust in me and allowing me to review a couple of your cross stitches because I do really enjoy your site. I'm sure I don't have to say that over and over, because you guys saw my other video I just did. And I was able to use those bars for holding four, there we go, of my different large cross stitch projects, because I just use one long metal tube per project and just rolled it from one side. And I always start on the left side, so I didn't need to roll the other side yet. So I have 4 of my large paintings on those, and the advantage is it's no longer floppy, so I can lay it in my lap. I'm going to put a picture of this. Probably won't make a whole lot of sense. I'll put a picture up of my dog laying on my chair there. I have a recliner chair, and normally when I work on my large projects, I lay them across that recliner chair like a blanket, but then I end up with my lap dog, who's probably 90 pounds, trying to get on that spot too. So by having them wrapped around those metal poles, I actually have a lot more stability. I run the pole just laying it beside me down the recliner. And I have a coffee table that I anchor the other end on. So that way it's stable, it's not bending, it's not falling to the floor, doing anything like that. So I do like them. But I was able, because I bought 2 sets, instead of using 2 per side, I used only 1 per project. So I got 4 of my large projects. And now they just kind of lean against the wall in a corner until I'm ready to work with them. So they do free up a lot of space. So that was a Dreamstitch thing. I think I'll do a little video about different ways to work on cross stitches with either scroll frames or hoops or those bars, and we can talk about that later. But anyway, let's get into this. So I'm excited here because I have 2 different cross stitch kits here, both from the same brand. They were listed in their new items and I thought they were both cute, and so I just picked 2 of their newer items. So Dreamstitch gave me a budget, and as you know, they sell the higher end stuff, so the budget is just a little bit more than what you would typically see. Ooh, look at that. Ooh. But I love Dreamstitch because there's always a little surprise in there too. And we have a stitch ripper here. So that is a stitch ripper. You can use it to pull out stitches without tearing up your fabric. That's this little ball runs across the fabric and keeps it from poking into the fabric. So very nice little stitch ripper here. So they always throw some little surprise goodie. And needle threader. That's probably hard to see the metal there, the little metal wire. Maybe you can. So that is a needle threader on the other side. So nice little tool there. Thank you, Dreamstitch, and it's got the cute little hearts on it. So this is interesting because it says, oh, more goodies. Look at that. It says DMC cross stitch on this package. So that's the bigger one. We'll leave a little bit of anticipation there and move that off to the side. And this is a smaller one. And this one just has regular packaging here, so it's not an envelope like this where you can store it for I was going to say for future use. That didn't make a whole lot of sense. But you will need your own project bag because this is a little bit more flimsy packaging on this one, but it's probably not meant to stay in that for very long, and it is a smaller project. So let's start by pulling these out. And one of the things Let me get rid of the noise first. One of the things to keep in mind is that Dreamstitch does throw these extra goodies in. So if you buy these particular brands on other websites, you won't necessarily get them. So some of the ones off of other websites won't come with toolkits and fancy little deals like this. So just keep that in mind. These are all goodies that Dreamstitch likes to add on to make it just a neat little special surprise. So this is a plastic thread holder, and we have some snips here. And again, I wouldn't expect these to come with every kit. So if you're buying these same brands on, say, fan sales and some of the other sites, you may not get these goodies. So just keep that in mind. That's why I like to order from Dreamstitch. It works for me. So this is a stamped kit. And it is a cute little owl. And I forgot the name of the company. I was hoping there would be an English version of the name here, but there's not right there. Look it up and edit the video and put the name up here. Because although I have read a little bit of Chinese, I had some fun learning Chinese pictographs several years ago, but I do not know those letters. So here is our cute little owl. Looks like an explorer owl or aviation owl because he's got the aviator eyes there. Goggles, hello. He's wearing a scarf and has some extra little doodads here. So this is printed a lot like the Fairy brand. So we have our list of symbols here. We have a color by it, and then we have the symbol that is going to be on the fabric there. It's printed a little bit light, but I can still see that. And then we also have the backstitch here. So there is going to be backstitch with different colors here. So each of the different colors indicates which color that is. And we do have a French knot here. So we have, going here, we have 24 colors that are just single colors. And then we start blends right here because a lot of animals, the fur looks much better if you have blends. In this case, of course, it's an owl that has feathers, but the blends will give a lot more definition and color that looks more animal-like. So you'll see here a lot of these blends are kind of grays and browns that are owl colored. So from 25 to 42, that would be 17 different colors of blends there. So quite a few, almost as many as single colors here. So if you don't like blends, this may not be for you, but I don't mind them at all. I used to stitch a lot of Teresa Winsler, and all of hers were blends everywhere. So this is checked off as a 14 count. There's also 16 and 11 count, and you do use 2 threads for that. So I'm not going to show the whole pattern here. Let me try to cover some of it up. But there's enough of it that you can see it's very clear, very easy to read. So the pattern on this is printed with the same symbols that are going to be on our fabric, which also makes it easy. But you can see tons of backstitch on there. So let's see how the printing looks on this brand. Oh, wow. So first thing I see right away is the amount of border on this. So I expect the bigger border from those larger cross stitch kits, but that's probably a solid 5 centimeters, maybe at least 3 inches, because my thumb is usually about 2 inches. So yeah, about 3 inches or maybe 5 centimeters there for the border all the way around. And you do have the key here that looks just like the one on the paper. So it's done the exact same way. And then you have the printing on there. Hopefully you can see how clear that is. And the back stitches are not printed on here, which is good because they would cover up some of those symbols and make them hard to read. Isn't he cute? So this is a pretty small one, as I knew it would be. It's about 75 by 100 stitches, thereabouts. There's some blank around there, but that's kind of the general size there. And yeah, 77 by 103, there it is. And I don't see the actual measurements on the centimeters. You can figure that out. Nope, it just says 14 count, 77 by 103. So about hand size, if that tells you anything. So really, really cute. This is a little bit stiff, but feels pretty easy to work with in hand. What I usually do for these smaller ones is I just roll them like this, and I will start in the top left corner and just work my way across. So I just roll them up. And if I get to something that's difficult, I just turn it upside down and roll it, and then I can reach the other stuff much better. So I work from both this way or upside down, and you can read the symbols upside down, but also the stitches will lay the same direction. Now if you turn it 90 degrees, you'll have to change which leg of your cross stitch is on the top. Okay, so let's see what we got here. We have a little package of needles here. Let's go ahead and take a look and see how many are in there. So it is stapled to the card here. It's got a little, I'll just tear the top. I'll make sure not to lose them. I'll put them in my canvas here. So we have two 14 count size needles. I'm bad with reading the numerical size, 24, 26, whatever. The numbers are, these I'm guessing are 26 maybe? Yes, there we go, 26. It says so on the package. So very nice little needles there. So I will, a lot of people don't like to put the needles in their fabric because they worry about them falling out, but also rusting. But since this has such a large area and it's brand new, I don't expect we'll have a problem with that. So we do have two floss cards here. So 42 total DMC colors. It was hard to tell by looking at the list because of all the blends exactly how many colors there were, but we have 42 different DMC colors for this little one. So we've got lots of grays and browns as we would expect. A lot of white there. This is color 24, which is B5200, which is a really bright white. So a lot of white in there somewhere, probably with blending. Let me take a look again at the picture. Let's see, because, okay, so there is white in here, but it's surrounded by other colors and some back stitch. So a fair amount of white in that one. So those are the colors. They feel like really nice floss. I'm trying to tell if this is more like Egyptian cotton or the CXC floss. It's really hard to tell because it feels kind of soft, but not too soft. It looks really shiny. Looks really good. But I can't really tell. It feels like Egyptian cotton. Maybe it's less fuzzy. To me, it doesn't really matter that much. I actually prefer a little bit the CXC floss because I feel like even though it's fuzzier, it does give a little bit more coverage. So there's colors 1 through 30, and then 31 through 43 there. A little bit of red because of the scarf and some blues in there with the blue grays and browns. So not a whole lot of any one color. So I suspect this one will stitch up pretty fast. So that's our cute little owl. And now the other one is a little bit bigger. And this one comes in a resealable package here, and it has a DMC cross stitch. So maybe it's the same brand, so maybe it is DMC floss, and why I can't really tell exactly what floss it is. Because DMC feels different than the Egyptian stuff that you get on the more budget-friendly kits. DMC is a little bit softer, so maybe that is DMC. So you can tell from this one, we have a lot of colors. First off, let's start by looking at, okay. So this one comes in one of these plastic cover booklets here. So this is the pattern. Beautiful little house with the bridge over the little water there. Some really pretty flowers there. It's hard to tell. This looks a little bit light on here, probably because of the printing. But this is a nice cover that's not rolling up the way some of the others from Fairy brand were. So again, this is that same brand. And we have all the details on here. This is a 14 count. But this is a very nice cover. So this one lays nice and flat. But I'm not sure I will keep it in here anyway. So this has 12 pages for the pattern. But here we go. Same kind of floss list here. And this one doesn't have any blends. So this is 62 colors. It is a 14 count, 250 by 334 for the stitch count. So it's a bit bigger. And 62 colors. I don't see any back stitch. I don't see any French knots. So a lot of times you find that more with the smaller kits in order to put the detail in. But if you have a big enough kit there, you don't need all the details. So you can see here the pattern looks printed really well. Very, very clear. But definitely a bit of confetti in there. So let me try to find, there's part of the house. There you can see the roof there, but definitely a bit of confetti on this. So I won't show all the pattern, but it does go a little bit onto that last page. So again, here's the picture. And you can tell already, if you look at the floss here, that indeed that picture is a little bit washed out from the printing because these floss colors are a lot brighter. And they do say DMC, and we have the same package of needles. So that's why I was having a little trouble trying to figure out what the floss was. Oh, we got one piece here that must have escaped, so we'll have to keep track of that. Maybe somebody had reported that there wasn't quite enough of this color, and they added to it. I'll have to look on here to see if we can find where it goes. I'll worry about that later. So we do have one little extra color here, and this one is definitely much bigger. I'm gonna have to zoom out here. Let me first get it turned the right way, and now I'll zoom you guys out and maybe raise the, let's see, it's getting kind of dark. It's after dark here. I'm gonna raise this up a little bit and see if that helps, maybe. So let's start here looking at the top. So we do see a lot of confetti, as you would expect, for the trees and everything. That's definitely something when you go into landscapes or any sort of scenes like that that have all the flowers and everything, they are going to have a lot of confetti here. So got a neat little Chinese seal, a little image there, and I will have to do some translating to figure out what everything says. You got your key on the side. It is serged so that it doesn't undo itself, but there's plenty of border on there. Again, it looks like, oops, I'm trying to lose this purple. We don't want to lose that. Looks like plenty of space, probably about 2.5 inches on this one, not quite 3, but a little bit of extra there. And this talks about the type of ink and the printing information there. And yes, 250 stitches by 334. So looks really nice. It looks like the little bit better quality of Ida cloth, and it is nice and thick. And it is starched quite a bit, but it is easy to relax these with time. But I see this one as going on one of my smaller scroll frames. I think that would fit nicely on a scroll frame. So, very happy with that. Let's look at the colors now. Lots and lots of colors here. So we'll start with this first one here. And we do have the needles. I'm guessing it's the same. It shows 26 times 2. So yeah, same number of needles and everything. But we got a lot of bright colors, a lot of black on this one. So it may be deceptive on the picture, but there's a lot of outlining that's black and maybe some of these darker shadows in there. as well as maybe here in the plant. So quite a bit of black on here, but lots of grays and browns and greens, a lot of primary colors with this one. Lots of pretty blues, a lot of gray in that one as well. And it looks like a lot more floss because this is definitely a bigger design. And I'm trying to lose that purple again. I'll find it in a minute. Okay, and then we have colors 31 through 60 here. Lots of pinks, really pretty jewel tone types, kind of dusty rose there and a dusty green for the flowers, some purples, bright yellow there. That one's pretty. And lots of dark green as well. So it looks like quite a bit of floss. It's surprising the amount of floss. To me, it looks like a lot more than maybe is needed here. So I guess we'll know when we stitch it. And then this last card has just a little bit of color 61 and 62 there. And that purple that I will have to figure out first off where it went. There it is. And where it goes. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and capture it here because I don't remember seeing a purple like that. Some maybe color 3 here. Oh, maybe it looks right. Let me put my glasses on so I can tell. Yeah, we'll go ahead and stick it here. Oops, sorry about that. Hopefully you can wait just a minute because I know I'm going to lose this if I'm not careful. So we'll just put it on here. That's probably where it fell off. I'm being watched by you guys. So it's harder to do it when you have an audience. There we go. So yes, just a little extra needed for that. Doesn't look like it fell off. It looks like it just was added in. Like maybe somebody figured out there wasn't quite enough. So that is all of the beautiful colors for this one. Much brighter than would indicate from the picture. But I'm excited about this one. This looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I've always loved cottages and landscape scenes. And it looks like early spring here because the trees are just starting to bud there. Really light pinks. And that looks like a birch tree there. I grew up in Minnesota. Well, I was born in Minnesota. Didn't grow up too much of my life there. But we had a lot more birch trees up there. So I do miss them because as a little kid, I used to get a pencil out and pull the bark off and try to write on them, which I know is bad for the trees. But hey, I was a little kid back then. So really nice booklet for the pattern. And really nice kit here. Love the printing on here. Very clear. Very easy to see. So I'm going to probably save this one for just a little bit because I need to get a scroll frame for it. I get my scroll frames at Michael's. And you can either get them online or go into your Michael's store and they might have them. But I like that it has a project bag as well here. And DMC floss, so very nice. Very nice quality floss that won't fray or tear up or anything like that. So awesome product review package here. All right, it's Future Amy here, and I've been working a little bit on one of these cross stitches here from Dreamstitch. And I think at the beginning I said they started with a Q, but hopefully in the editing I fixed that. They are from Xiaobai, I think is how you pronounce it, Xiao, and then capital BAI. So I believe that is the brand. I'm going to have the links to these below, but I did go ahead and do a little portion of this one. Of course, it would take me a while to do the whole thing, but I picked this upper corner where the ears and ears. Do owls have ears? And the little glasses on his head to see how it went. I'm not sure how well you can see some of those blended colors in there, but there are several colors actually in that little section, and the blends are working out quite well. So lots of different colors here. This is the second one. Here it is. So yes, lots of different colors here that are blending together, and This fabric has been just slightly stiff, but it is really easy to read the symbols. I had no trouble reading the symbols there, and I have enjoyed stitching it so far. So even though it looks like a lot of confetti, there's maybe 5 or 6 stitches of the smallest number of colors in that area, and other areas I was able to use a whole thread and finish it there. Some of the threads I had a little bit left, so I kind of moved into other areas there to finish the thread. I sometimes park, sometimes don't. This is a small one, so I really wasn't going to park on this one. So some of these other areas here, maybe I can turn it over to the back so you can see how much I actually did there. And that's just carrying over. As I finished this area, I would stop and start threads in other areas to use it up. So, happy with it so far. I found it easy to read. You can see that it's kind of rolled up over here on this side because that's how I stitch. I'm left-handed, so I will roll this up like this and hold it like this while with my fingers in the back so I can feel for any knots or anything. And that's how I typically work on something, and work from left to right, top to bottom, sometimes bottom to top if they're bigger and laying on my legs on the couch. But that's how I work on it, so that's why it's a bit rolled up. But really easy to work on. I like this size project, and even though it is small, it does have a lot of detail in there with a lot of different colors. But that's been kind of fun working on this one. From Dreamstitch.top, and I will put the information down below, the link for these 2 kits. It takes about 2 weeks to get these in, and the prices have actually been good despite the tariff stuff going on and all these extra goodies here. And then we have our owl. I'll probably start on him and get back with you. Maybe I really need to do a floss tubing and do updates on where I am with a lot of projects. So I will work on this one a little bit. Maybe we'll do a stitch with me here later this week with this one, because this is just really cute. And I think it's going to be a quick and easy project. So all sorts of goodies here to get me started. Everything you could possibly need. So thank you, Dreamstitch, and we'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.